What's up guys, it's Josh from Soul Studios. I'm back today with a review of the Weight Tank Compressor by Locomotive Audio. I'm going to go over to the website real quick to tell you a little bit about the specs, and then we'll get right into the sound examples quickly here. But one thing I wanted to point out, what interested me about this particular compressor and why I wanted to review it on the channel in comparison to all the other Vari reviews I've done, is this. If you've priced out a lot of the others that I've reviewed here, they're anywhere from 2 to 3 times this price. So if someone could make a Vari compressor in this price range, there could be a lot of value here. So $11.99, awesome price. I think it looks great, which is always a plus. And I want to point out a couple things here in the specs. 6BC8 tube, you're going to be familiar with that in the RS124 and the Retro 176. You can stereo link a pair of these. Hardwire bypass. A lot of the examples I'm going to start with, it will be out. This is the bypass here, so if it's to the left, it's out. When you see me flip it to the right, it'll be in. That is missing from a surprising number. I've actually gotten that comment on a lot of the other reviews I've done, is that I really wish there were a bypass, and I agree. It's always ideal to have one. The gain reduction meter is backlit. That's something else that's missing on some Vari comps, and it just looks better. It's nice. Of course, doesn't affect the sound, but I do like to have the VU meter backlit when possible. Still input, interstage, and output transformers. So you have 3 massive transformers that your audio is running through here. Compression ratio is 3.5 to 1, and that's similar to an RS124 and a stay level, I believe. Of course, with Vari, the harder you push into them, that ratio can increase, which is part of what I love about them. But it seems like we're starting in a good range of other compressors that I like a lot, so that's awesome. All right, let's get into it. Today we are doing the song Second Chance. This starts out with a finger-picked acoustic. It's going to be our first example here, and we will build out the song, use the weight tank on a bunch of different sources here, and hopefully by the end of this, you will know if it's something you want to pursue for your own studio. All right, here we go. So we're off to a great start, being able to bring out a little bit more of the attack, a more aggressive release, and the 3 steel transformers, I think, brought this forward in a nice way. Let's hop over to the other acoustics. So the awesome thing here, when I'm engaging the weight tank, it's not like all of a sudden it's really squashed and so compressed, because I'm able to dial in the right attack and release to still have a natural sounding instrument that's not squashed. I mean, of course, when you're working with great players, great artists like Patrick, they're not going to give you a performance that technically needs compression, because if you're talking about something that needs compression just from a gain reduction standpoint, you're talking about like a snare drum that the impact of the hit is inconsistent, or somebody playing acoustic like this that their dynamics are just all over the place. Thankfully, that's not what we're dealing with, and hopefully not what you're dealing with most of the time. And so we get to shift to using compressors as instruments of tone instead of gain reduction as their primary purpose. Looking for energy, looking for feel, thinking about how this song is mostly acoustic based, but it's full band. So these acoustics, if they were just a singer-songwriter, one guitar and vocal, I may want it a bit more relaxed, like the way it was tracked. But because it is going to get bigger towards the end of the song, I'm trying to find a little more aggressiveness, a little more energy here, but also in a way that still sounds like a natural, good acoustic. Okay, next I want to move to snare, and the reason being it's a shuffle marching band kind of thing that really carries the main rhythmic element of the song. And so I want to see if we can bring out a little bit more of the ghost notes and really bring the energy up of this. So here we go, drive first. Now this is highlighting the speed of the weight tank, which is awesome because you've got the shuffle ghost notes in between, and then you've got your main quarter note attacks that hit harder. And just using the attack knob, I can really change the blend between those two quite a bit. You can really clamp down on the bigger hits if that's what you want. I'm overcooking it here just to emphasize what it can do, but we've shifted over to drive, which I think will work nicely on this snare. I'm not going to compress it quite this much, but the difference between the uncompressed and the compressed is showing us much more of the range of how aggressive the weight tank can get when that's what you want. With this being a more of a ballad, what I'm trying to accomplish here with the acoustics and the snare is like if it's bypass, listen to this. It really changes the feel and the energy. All right, let's check out bass. This has in the beginning some longer, more drawn out notes that I want to make sure that the tail of those extend out until the next note, fills up that space. And then it moves around a bit more later in the song, so we'll have some nice variety here to test out the weight take on. So that showed a lot of range. I put it in the drive mode and turned the input all the way up. It was doing probably 30 dB of gain reduction, and it was still a pleasant sound, which is something that you don't find in a lot of compressors. There's kind of a little bit of saturation, and then it just goes to where it's completely unusable. But this one, you can really push it hard, and even though that's not what I want for this particular song, I mean, it changed the whole feel of the bass part to where if you needed it to sound like somebody really meant business when they played it, you could. And what I'm finding is starting with the slowest attack is a very natural gain reduction on the weight tank. And then you can get anywhere between 170% and you've still got a very natural attack coming through. And then when you get between, let's say 60 to 30 range, you start to notice it more, like it can really clamp down if you want. And then fastest can just completely annihilate transient if you need it to. So it's almost like low, medium, high or something, the way I'm kind of dividing it up mentally when I look at the attack. And the release, tons of range there. I mean, when you dial it down to 0 and get the fastest, you can really get a much more aggressive sound. And then when you start getting, let's say 40 and slower, you start to get that really natural, slower RS-124 style release where you can make something compress a lot, bring out the room or whatever you want to accomplish with it, but it doesn't sound like it's doing a lot. It's not pumping, which is great to have. Okay, moving along to electric guitar, there's a part that's finger picked, and so much like I did with the acoustics that were finger picked, I want to probably do a faster release to excite it in a way, bring up the energy. And then there's a big note, which you can see here at the end, that I probably am going to want to dynamically control that. So let's give it a shot here. Okay, let's pull up Patrick's vocal here and we'll finish up with this. So this song is pretty laid back. For 99% of the song, it's sung in a storyteller, very soft-spoken manner. So I want to maintain that. I don't want to over-compress or make it so aggressive that it doesn't fit the track. And then there's a little bit of an ending section where he opens up and has a bit more dynamic parts.
New church, new Bible. Old car, used clothes. New church, new Bible. Old car, used clothes. All the warning signs ignored. kaleidoscopes and cartwheels. In a different town, it'll spin you around. It'll spin you around. We're losing her. Make this boat turn around. Just hold your head above the water, 'cause everyone deserves a second chance. New church, new Bible, old car used clothes. New church, new Bible, old car used clothes.
Now, something that is a nice surprise here is that this thing is very fast. Its ability to clamp down and completely hold this vocal in place, the only other Vari compressor I would say has this kind of speed would be the Retro 176, which, if you've been around the channel for a while, you know is my favorite vocal compressor of all time. So this is really exciting. I've been hanging around a lot more in the slower 70 to 100 attack range so far on the song. But getting to the vocal, even though this vocal dynamically doesn't need this kind of treatment, when you have a Vari comp that can go there when you need it, it's actually really, really helpful and useful to have. So I was not expecting this at all. Let me get to the chorus. Again, this what I'm doing right now, probably way too much for this. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the music in with the vocal and try to find the best overall setting. But to know that you can do this if you had a vocal that maybe wasn't performed the best, that was a little dynamically all over the place, I'm pretty shocked, honestly, in a great way.
New church, new Bible, old car used clothes. All the warning signs ignored. Kaleidoscopes and cartwheels. In a different town, it'll spin you around. It'll spin you around. We're losing her. Make this boat turn around. Just hold your head above the water, 'cause everyone deserves a second chance. On the road to Carolina, you said you'd do it for your son, but it all came undone, and this battle just begun. We're losing her. Make this boat turn around. Just hold your head above the water, 'cause everyone deserves a second chance. Replace the chords upon your eyes. Changing tides, the stars aligned. You took the first steps toward your life. Ooh, yeah. We watched an angel get her wings. New church, new Bible. Old car used close. All the warning signs ignored. Kaleidoscopes and cartwheels in a different town. It'll spin you around. It'll spin you around. We're losing her. Make this boat turn around. Just hold your head above the water, 'cause everyone deserves a second chance. On the road to Carolina, you said you'd do it for your son, but it all came undone. And this battle just begun. We're losing her. New church, new Bible. Old car used close. All the warning signs ignored. Kaleidoscopes and cartwheels in a different town. It'll spin you around. It'll spin you around. We're losing her. Make this boat turn around. Just hold your head above the water, 'cause everyone deserves a second chance.
Okay, let's jump to the end and see where the more dynamic vocal is sitting. You can see here we got quite a bit of a volume increase.
You deserve a second chance. Oh yeah. Oh, 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 yeah. Yeah.
So like everything else, it's handling it like a champ. You would have no problem clamping down on the one electric guitar that had the much louder strum at the end of the finger-picked part, or this vocal that's really soft all the way up to the very ending. Let's listen to that with no compression.
Oh, 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 yeah. Yeah.
So without compression, that's something you're going to have to deal with automation or something. But again, the Weight Tank, I'm actually going to put on the fastest attack this time just to see how much it'll grab it.
Oh, 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 yeah.
mean, that's leaving it where you're going to have to do very little, if any, automation on that part, which is pretty amazing and very, very useful to still give you a good natural vocal tone, but reducing the amount of time you're going to have to spend to automate the volume to get the vocal to sit right where you need it in the mix. So naturally, as I review more and more compressors on the channel, I get comments asking, which one would you choose, this one versus this one? And I understand. What I will say with the Weight Tank, if you're going to ask me Weight Tank or RS-124 or 176 or stay level, et cetera, the Weight Tank is its own thing. So what I like about this, the Weight Tank isn't coming out saying we are, veiled language about a 1960s such and such where everybody knows what they're talking about, but they can't legally say it. When I saw the Weight Tank, I wasn't quite sure what it was trying to be, which was great. I just knew that it was a Vari compressor. It looked cool. I had heard some good things from some fellow engineers. So if you're watching any of my reviews and you want to compare the Weight Tank to one of the more expensive Vari, I would just say let it stand on its own. I've got no problem using it alongside of the other things that you see in the rack and that I've reviewed on the channel, but I don't think it's a direct replacement for any of them. And to be honest, none of them are. Even with like the Chandler RS-124 and RS-660, there's supposed to be a little bit overlap there. And when I shot them out side by side, I even found that unfortunately you end up wanting both. So who do I think the Weight Tank would be good for? I think maybe someone that has some of the others that wants something different, that's not looking for another clone that's been done a bunch. Somebody that is maybe getting their first outboard compressor that's looking for something that actually you can tell what it's doing. When you use it, you're gonna know that you're using it. It's doing something. Much like the RS-124 with this box, I would not be afraid to do 1 to 2 dB of gain reduction because the box tone is nice. And so don't feel like, well, I'm not really doing enough. 1 or 2 is going to definitely still impact the signal and maybe be exactly what it needs, especially with as grabby as it can be, that might be all you need. With the slow release, you're definitely getting into that territory of what I love about a good old slow Vari comp that also at the same time does this really transparent compression when you want it. And then on the flip side, this thing has the ability to be really fast, getting into that 176 territory where when you have a vocal that's going to be too fast for an RS-124, you're going to want something like this to clamp down if you don't have an 1176 or something to put after the RS-124. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you found this helpful and useful. And if you're interested in the Weight Tank comp, I definitely encourage you to check it out, locomotiveaudio.com. All right, that's all I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video to help spread the word to other engineers that it may be helpful for. And there's a new feature for smaller channels called hype. So if you'll check below the video, you should be able to hype this video like 3 times if you like it that much, and I hope you do. So that's just something else new you can do to help the channel. All right, I'll be back again soon. As always, I appreciate your time and hope you guys are having a great week in your studio. See you again soon. Take care.